Welcome to the Better Two podcast. I'm your host, Donna. Today's guest is Dex and Chrissy Valentine from the Magic Wands. We talk about music, we talk about inspiration, dreams as far as goals, and well, so much more. So tune in. Slade Lake saved her life. Now Alex Camden's the one threat he can't eliminate. Alex is a liability, classified, compromised, and alive when she shouldn't be. Slade's Navy SEAL team rescued her from a black site. His only job is to protect Alex, but she is no ordinary asset. She's a walking enigma with secrets that could start wars. They're trapped together, hunted by enemies, and betrayed by their own. The longer they run, the tension builds. But getting close to her is a mistake that could cost him the mission. Loving her could destroy them both. A thrill ride of danger, deceit, betrayal, and a passion that burns as hot as the sun. Rescuing His Star by Marley Sable, available at Amazon.com. Hi, Dexy. Hi, Chris. How are you doing today?
Hi, good. Thank you.
Hi, good.
Good. And you know, we talked a little bit about this before, but you have the whole image of the mysterious behind the dark glasses, and you said you had come in from outside. We had a little bit of technical problem. So is also part of your image, though, is it not? The sunglasses and being mysterious a little bit?
That whole like camera steals your soul kind of thing.
Yeah. So, and do you really subscribe to that? Honestly?
A little bit.
Okay. No, it's fair. It's fair because we have so many things in the world that, you know.
I think it makes it a more special occasion when we're not wearing our sunglasses. If we wear them all the time.
Not to mention you can get away with going incognito a lot more often by taking them off.
Yeah, that's true.
So, when we look at your music, and we were talking a little bit before we had a little bit of an issue, you were talking about the fact that even though the music skews darker, because we were talking how it goes a little bit dark side, the lyrics are positive, which we know there's a master or person who did that was Morrissey. You know, Girlfriend's in a Coma. The music's all very happy sounding, but you know, it's the reverse. So what leads you to go with the music being a little bit darker, but yet the happier lyrics?
It's not that they're happy. They're just more introspective. I think we've always, I grew up with darker music. And it was just kind of a fluke that we had a couple really light pop records. I think we always wanted to be doing this kind of music, but you know, working with producers and different record labels pushing us in certain directions, we kind of were going for that more instant kind of pop, lighter sort of feel. And it's just been great feeling like we have the freedom now to do what we want to do, which is be a little bit more experimental, having a little less structure in our songs. They're not so, you know, verse, chorus. And with that, you get a little more creative and you create sonic landscapes and it becomes a little more cinematic and theatrical. And with that, you start, you know, it can sound darker, but this album, you know, it is kind of a journey. There's moments of darker songs and then that lightens up a little bit. Like Time to Dream, I think is pretty true to our old sound, which is a little bit more lighter. And,
I don't think we're that dark. I think there's like a special place in the middle that, you know, we try to end up.
I think the fact that the way you mentioned it's cinematic. So when you think dark music, and it's not necessarily dark, but cinematic music always is powerful. There's always I don't want to say a darkness to it, but there's always something big to it. There's always something that pulls you in. And sometimes that does skew dark.
Yeah, I mean, it's got a emotion in it. There's a lot of emotion in it. And, you know, I guess we are trying to find a balance between lighter and accessible, but more meaningful, you know, meaningful and has some depth and dimension. Because, you know, we could write pop records in our sleep and that's just not fulfilling. Maybe when we first started out, it was, but it's just, we actually have, I think, more to say now. It's a little more personal. Magic Wands was never very personal. We were kind of creating fantasy songs just for for fun, you know. But now I think it's not that we're getting a little more serious. We're just experimenting more. So.
And I didn't mean to cut you off. So when you were talking about that you're not so dark, I did not mean to cut you off. I think the fact is it's this epic. When I was listening to it, there was emotion behind it. There was a darkness there. And I do tend to write to music that is a little bit more dramatic because I write differently. So that's the one thing about your music. For some people, it will be not so heavy.
Right.
For somebody like me, it may skew that way. So there's no offense meant by saying it's dark or field.
No, I mean, we're not trying to, like, we hope that the music in some way is uplifting.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, even though it's, I mean, you know, when I think of dark goth music, I think of like Bauhaus or,
yes. Yeah,
you know,
Whips and Chains,
Ministry.
Yes.
You know, I don't think we're that hard or that sinister sounding.
No, but there's a tinge of 80s music to you as well. There's a 80s sound on this record, and the 80s, from a lot of the artists that I'm seeing coming in, they are hearkening back to those times with the more experimental keyboard music, more experimental bass and guitars. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's a hearkening back to that. And there's never going to be, or there may be, but to go as dark as Bauhaus and some others did, it doesn't have to be that dark to still have that vibe.
Yeah. I mean, obviously we grew up with a lot of 80s and early 90s music, and it's just there. I mean, that for us, that was a great time in music, you know, growing up with that. And I just don't really relate to a lot of modern pop music today. I appreciate it. You know, I can hear it in the car and sing along to it, but I'm like, I'm not going down that road, you know. Just,
Well, what's interesting is you guys have roots in Nashville, and yet your music is very far removed from that Nashville sound.
Oh, yeah, we're not. We really didn't fit into the whole Nashville thing. And I only was in Nashville for a year. Chris grew up there, and I visited for a year, and then we got back to LA. So
yeah, I mean,
go ahead, Chris.
There was a lot of indie stuff there at the time.
Yeah, there's great bands in Nashville for sure, but you know, we
weren't part of the country scene.
We didn't really want to be like, hey, we're from Nashville. Our first thing we wanted to do was go to England. Like, we wanted to go, have an excuse to go look at the castles there and stuff.
I can understand that.
We were trying to get out of where we were, like, right away, you know.
So how much of a culture shock since you grew up in Nashville was LA for you?
It's very different. Yeah, you learn a lot about life in Los Angeles.
Yeah, it's its own planet, LA.
It's not like anywhere else. I mean, you can't really compare it to anywhere. I don't know what's like. We've been around a bunch of places now, and it's like there's nothing
like LA.
It's its own weird fantasy land.
But at the same time, I've been saying for 5 years, I just want to move, but I don't know where.
That's the problem.
I haven't been able to figure it out. Like, where would I go? I don't.
I went through that journey last year, and I ended up in a landing space, and I'm still not sure if this is my permanent home or not.
Where are you?
I am outside of Chicago, about 100 miles outside of Chicago now, in a smaller town north of Rockford and a little bit south of Wisconsin. But the funny thing is, I was working at a shop doing tarot readings and stuff like that. And I kept joking because I was teaching classes there. And when I wasn't at home, I was there. And I kept joking that it's my home away from home. And in the process, I'm still trying to figure out where I'm going to go. I have no idea where I'm going to go. And I ended up buying a place in that town where the shop was. The shop's no longer here. But I ended up buying. So I'm like, did I manifest this? Because I kept saying it was my home away from home. But I was very much like you, and I'm still that way. It's like, where am I going to go if I go? Where feels like home?
Have you tried LA?
I thought about moving out to LA back in 2003. I came very close, and I did not do it. I even had a job offer it wasn't in LA, it was at a place, as some people call it, the armpit, Stockton. But I didn't take it. I met my husband and he said, "Why are you doing this?" And yeah, here we are. Or here we were, because he's gone now. But
You read tarot. That's cool.
thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's something I learned how to do. I grew up in New Orleans, and and speaking of places that aren't like normal places, New Orleans is the same way. New Orleans is very different than most towns.
We've never actually been to New Orleans. Have you been there?
I've been to the other one that's close to New Orleans, the one right next to it. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think I've really spent any time much in Louisiana. I've been to Baton Rouge.
Okay, that's not like that's like an hour and a half away, but I was like, right next door. I'm not sure. Even Baton Rouge though is far removed from New Orleans. It's a different feel, different vibe. Yeah. So, if you could go anywhere in the world, where would you go? I mean, besides England, because yes, I would like to go to England myself, but where would you go?
I don't know.
There's places in Europe that we've done a lot of tours, but there's places in Europe we still haven't been to, like Rome, or Vienna, Austria, or like
I'd like to go to
Prague. Ireland we haven't been to, yeah. Kind of places like that, I guess, would be ideal. Maybe Japan one day.
What was it like when you got that first call saying, "Hey, we want you to come over here to perform overseas"?
That was a long time ago.
Oh, I'm sure, but I'm just saying, do you remember the feeling of it? Was it like
I kind of honestly dreading it, because I did not. There was a period in my life where I didn't like flying. I'm one of those. Was one of those. I cannot get on a plane.
Understand.
I just didn't like it, but I did it, and I got used to it and got over my fear of flying.
It was really fast, kind of, though, like, because we started off and we just, we got together and recorded like our songs that we both had that we thought would, like, this is our sound now. And then everything just happened really fast. And we had a UK tour within like 6 months of like just recording like songs that we thought were demos, So we were already in the UK, and not just like club shows, like big shows opening for some like pretty big bands. And we played on the BBC, we played on like radio stuff, I don't know. It was like very overwhelming, like really fast. So,
and we ran the other way.
And we just,
that's not why we make music. We were not like, oh, we want to be famous and we want to, we really just like putting out music and like to be at our own pace. And I'm not someone that can be easily controlled and told where to go, when to go, because I have to feel things out. I'm guided by my own intuition, and if something feels wrong, I don't want to do it. And that really doesn't work when people they see you as a source of, income, and they want to just push you, max you out so that they can, get you in the top of the charts and get you on the biggest things. Like, that's all fine, but it was just way too soon for us, because I just left LA. I left my band in LA. I was going to Nashville to just kind of do music for fun, not for a career anymore. And somehow we just put music out. When you don't want something, every opportunity in the world comes flying out the door. So I was like, well, I guess we'll try it. And we started to try it, and it was cool, but I'm much happier now. We are at our own pace. We can do whatever we want, and we have a really supportive label on board that like gives us freedom and stuff. So it's great.
Well, that's the thing nobody thinks about. They don't think about all the other trappings that come with fame. They just think, oh, well, I'll be famous. People will know me. I'll have money. They don't think about everything that comes with it, because then you lose yourself. You're being told constantly where you have to be, what you have to do. This has to be done a certain way. I mean, you even lose some of your creativity, do you not?
Oh, you do, because, if we want to record a certain way, and maybe we want the vocals more buried in the mix, and we want to use a lot of effects and stuff to create an atmosphere, most labels and producers are opposed to that, because, they want it to come across pop, they want to hear the vocals really up front, really dry. And for me, that just kills the vibe.
We've had a lot of arguments about that with our people we've worked with about how things are. Everyone has an opinion, you know. So it's like, the more you're working on it, it's like.
Well, a lot of people don't want to hear a strong opinion from a woman in music. You know, it's very male dominant industry, and I've always been very vocal about what I want, what I don't want, what I like, and you'd think you would get some respect for that, but I had a lot of struggles with people getting upset because I had such strong opinions. You know, it's like, oh, you're ungrateful, you're a diva, you know, you're difficult, you know, it's like, whatever, you know. I know what I like. I know what I like though. And I really, I don't know. I guess I've just always been in that lane, you know, where even in school, I just couldn't handle being told what to do, you know? So I kind of just, you know, march to the beat of my own drum like most Pisces do, you know?
But the thing is, when you are creative and you see a vision and it's not coming to fruition, it's going to get to you too. I mean, you have people, go ahead, you know, people are telling you, this is what you need to do. And all they're looking at is the bottom line. And you can take this out of, when I was a supervisor in insurance. So I was a claim supervisor at one point, and I'm sitting in a room full of actuaries. So all they are is money men. They have no concept of what is really doing. So they want to write a book. And I know people are, I'm going to try to explain this as best I can, of high risk people. So high risk auto accidents. They have numerous auto accidents. They have SR18 or whatever it is. They have gotten in so many accidents. But you know what? We can charge them higher premiums and we'll make more money.
Yeah.
No, you know what's going to happen? Oh, wait, the company went out of business.
Right.
Because all they're looking at is the bottom line. They're not looking at, for in the creative aspect, they're not looking at the creativity. They're not looking what somebody might enjoy. They're looking at this money, and money is not everything.
No, it's really not.
Yeah, like in the beginning, it took us 2 years to get our first album finished. I mean, trying to get the music to have the right feeling is really hard to explain when you're making something and it doesn't feel right yet. And you know what you want to change, but it's hard to articulate it, especially when you're not in control of the recording process, which in the beginning we didn't have a lot of, we didn't have our own studio and things like that. Now we're much more set up. We can do all that ourselves. So we don't have to answer to anybody about how this should sound or that should sound. But, you know, in the beginning, it was a lot of fights about things and trying to get it to feel right. And it's like baking a cake, you know what it's supposed to taste like, but you can't explain the ingredients to somebody when you're putting it in and someone's saying, do this, do that, you know? So, you know, it's part of it, but it's just, you know, we did pretty well though, for the most part on a lot of things, but there are things I would change, you know, in retrospect, but.
Yeah, for me, it's definitely about a feeling. And it's very hard when someone else is in control of mixing where they want to put the levels of instruments. Like, if it doesn't feel right, I am having a breakdown. You know, the mixing is so difficult. Even when Chris is mixing, we go through so many different mixes until it gets right. Because, you know, but he's the best mixer I've ever worked with. And he's really learned a lot over the years. And now he can mix our album, which it's very perfect to my ears. There's always things we can improve on, you know, with what we're working with. But back in the day, I would have just breakdowns. I'm like, this is not how it's supposed to sound.
That's why we ended up coming to Los Angeles initially from Nashville, is because we recorded the first EP we ever did, like our professional whatever, in a studio. We did it in New York. Yeah. And then it was supposed to be mixed, and it got sent to a guy in LA, and he was sending us the songs to Nashville. And we just kept going back and forth. And then finally we were just like, we just got to go to LA and just go sit down with them, because this is not working, you know? So it's frustrating when you hear something and in the first 2 seconds you want to throw your headphones across the room, you know, because it just doesn't. It's not the right feeling, you know.
I remember sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, when I first came to LA, I remember I saw David Lynch speak, and someone said, how do you know when you're done, when the movie's finished? And he said, when it feels right to you. If it doesn't feel right to you, it's not going to feel right to anyone else. So I've kind of lived by that ever since I heard that. It was just so impactful to hear that, just being new to LA and very young, and listening to that, I was like, okay, so if it doesn't feel right, and that's so true.
Mm-hmm.
You know how I know it feels right to her is when I play her something and her foot starts tapping.
Okay.
I watch her feet. And if they're not tapping, I know I'm in trouble.
But see, that even I've done readings so I've done events, and I'm doing a tarot reading, and I will read for somebody. And at my core, because I usually don't ask many questions, I'll ask them, does this feel right? And they're like, no. And at my core, I already knew this. That's why I asked, because you just know there's an instinctual feeling when you know something is right, and you have to trust that. When I was, as you were talking about working with somebody that doesn't see your vision, that you really need to sit down and talk to them. When I first got my logo done, I'm explaining to her that I want it done like the Three of Swords, and I want a bass head, I want a microphone, and I want a quill for a pen. And she came back with this wild looking thing. And in fact, one of the little microphones that she drew looks like a smiling sperm. And it's like, nope, that's not what I need. So this went back and forth, but it's frustrating because you see your vision and somebody else maybe can't carry it out.
Right. So that's why we had to learn to do it all ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I feel like, this last record definitely translates our vision.
Yeah, this is the best, I think, that we've got it to come out, how we would want it to sound.
But then again, in 5 years, I might look back and
be
feel
like,
different.
This sucks, yeah.
Because my last record I felt like this really delivered what we were going for. And hearing it now, a couple of years later, I see where it could have been different in certain areas. So it's just crazy how it changes over time, the longer you have away.
But we're always our own worst critic.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. No one hears what, we would be picking apart about things or whatever. I know, people, you listen to people hear the whole. It's like when we're in the painting, and it's like, it's hard to step back and look at the painting when you're in the painting,
Mm-hmm. Same thing with writing. You can't see, you have to step away from it in order to really know if it's true or not. So how has social media made your career? Has it helped it, or has it tied it up more, made it more of a process, a harder process to connect with your audience?
We are just so not that big into social media. It's painful.
I don't know. Yeah.
We've been making videos. We put them on our YouTube channel. We have our fans that check them out, but it's to do I can't keep up with it. You've got X, you've got SoundCloud, you've got Bandcamp, and you've got Instagram and YouTube and Spotify and
I don't know
Blue Sky. I mean, I don't look at anything hardly at all on there. I'm like, I can't pay attention to every note, every story, every post.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's insane. I cannot live in that world. I can't even tell you how hard it is just for us to get one post up. What I like the most is stories. It's doesn't stay there forever. It's, hey, this is what we're doing. This is what's going on. But what I like about social media is we can talk to fans across the world, that have found our music. And that's really cool. In a split second, somebody in another country could hear our song and instantly contact us and say, hey, we like your music. And sometimes people ask us to do things the other day, somebody wanted us to wish them a happy wedding because they're playing our song Space at their wedding. I like stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm not stuck up, so I don't mind talking to fans. We haven't had too many problems. There's been a couple crazy ones that are, it's like block, but
it wouldn't be the world if you didn't have some craziness.
Yeah. But just to maintain a day to day. Like I'm not trying to, I don't want to be an influencer, it's not my
I'm
thing.
amazed at some of these other bands that post things all the time. I see it once in a while and it's like, wow, like I don't even know. Like I haven't even opened the app in 2 days that Instagram. Like I don't even know what's going on. And
Yeah.
somebody else posted like 4 things and I don't know. It just doesn't, we kind of like hide, like our song, we kind of hide out and pop up once in a while.
Well, I mean, everybody's like, you need social media in order to make or break your career. And I'm not sure that's true anymore. I think people are getting burned out on it.
And they really are. And you know what makes or breaks a career is the songs. If people like the songs, they're going to share them. They're going to spread them. No amount of, anything is going to, I mean, yeah, it puts it out there a little bit more, but people aren't going to like it just because it's out there. They have to like it because they like it.
But other people will do that for you. They'll do the social media for you. Look, our job is to just do our songs like we've always done, and everything is secondary.
I mean, to be honest, when I first listened to the record, which I guess was about 2 weeks ago, I was posting about my book. So to create a story or a reel, I ended up throwing one of your songs on there. It works for me for publicity, but it's also putting your music to a different audience that may not be aware of it.
Exactly. And that's something that we could have never planned. Like you can't plan to do that, to have other people do that. It's just what happens,
Mm-hmm.
We like to have, PR is important to let people know that it's out there. And, we're always doing what we can to promote our stuff through our channels. But as a day-to-day thing, like, hey, this is what I'm having for lunch today. And, yeah,
look at this cute outfit I have on.
Yeah.
Not really.
We're so like about just the music, I know a lot seems to go with it now, like more than ever, like fashion and like, branding and all that stuff. We're not doing it.
We're not really doing that. Yeah.
I posted a picture of a squirrel that was hanging out in a tree yesterday. And then last night I got to see the Northern Lights. But otherwise, most of the stuff is either about my book or the podcast and I don't try to do it all the time because it's too much. It really is just too much. And you can't be creative if you're constantly trying to market yourself.
No. See, I love nature. So I will post on my stories like all the time, sunsets, full moons, the ocean and, coyotes running down the street. I love animals and I love nature. I care more about that stuff and connect with that more than I do with like, whatever else is going on.
So that's got to be a little bit tough for being in LA. I mean, I know you have the beach and I know you have amazing sunsets, but there's also I've been there. There's a very urban feel to it. So that's got to be a little contradictory for you being there if you're more into nature.
It is very hard. I say this all the time, like how and why am I still living in this jungle, like concrete jungle, It's like, it's too...
We have our places we go, though. There's places that are kind of like...
Yeah, every weekend I'm like, we've got to go to the beach. I've got to be near the ocean. I've got to go to the park. Or I just start to feel like I'm suffocating,
Well, definitely being a Pisces, you're going to want to be by the water. So
yeah,
natural portal. What were you going to say, Chris?
No, that's all. Yeah, we kind of have our places that we go and get away from it and hide out, go to the mountains. Maybe there's mountains close by. We'll go up there once in a while. But yeah, we don't hang out like in downtown LA or anything.
No, that's a whole different vibe then. I mean, that's the one good thing when I was out there. You do have the mountains, you do have the beach. So you do have a lot of, it's not all concrete, but there is definitely a feel to it.
I actually have started to like downtown more than ever now. I just like the old architecture. Feel like I've neglected downtown. I stay in my little area. We kind of have our own LA where we only go to certain places.
We were talking about guide to LA, the Magic
Yeah,
Wands
we want to
guide.
make a guide because I feel like we found so many great places and I don't think even a lot of people, I don't know. It's just it's just different. We make LA not so much like a city, it's a little small bubble for us.
So maybe you do create something, the Magic Wands Guide to LA, and every once in a while you post a story. about one of the places.
Yeah, we've checked out so many places to find what we like. But still, I would like to be living somewhere near like a river, in a forest. And, you know, I like going to sleep to the sound of crickets, you know.
Yeah.
I just don't know what that is. I keep saying maybe Pennsylvania, somewhere in Pennsylvania I'd like to live, you know.
Yeah.
There's always Oregon. That's got wildlife and crickets and
Oregon's scary, actually. We drove through there a few
We've
times.
had some scary experiences driving through Oregon.
Multiple.
I've only been there once. So
it's pretty.
It's
very
beautiful.
Pretty.
It's really
Mhm.
beautiful.
I went there once and I was told as I went to fill up my rental car that I was not supposed to pump gas. I know that's changed now, but back then, yeah, I got chased back into my car. I'm like, what? Yeah, you can't pump gas.
I think I'm definitely more of an East Coast,
Okay.
Person.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, just a word to our viewers: don't stop in Wolf Creek in Oregon.
Oh my God, we were like surrounded by cars. People had guns, or it was so scary.
that does not sound like a fun time at all. At all. So what do you hope after for this record, what do you hope comes from it? I mean, are you looking for doing more? I know you have some tour dates, but are you looking for more dates to do, maybe more European dates, maybe more dates in the States, or are you basically going to do these dates and then move on to the next project?
I think we're
looking forward to doing less. If we can get, we can have it do well enough where we can do even less than we do now. That would be great. No, we to do another record would be,
we are doing another record.
We're definitely doing another album, and
we're gonna tour probably.
Probably do another big tour, yeah. But yeah, I don't know. What do we have to look that we would want it to be more? I mean, I just hope more people that would like our music would hear it, get a chance to hear it.
Hope it gets out there. It'll do what it does on its own. I don't hold on to that. We make a record, we put it out, it does what it does,
Mm-hmm.
Can't really control it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I say like, we'd like more awareness that it's out, that's why our label hires a PR team to put it out.
If you could collaborate with anybody, who would you collaborate with?
We keep getting asked that this past week. It's so funny because I don't know. I really haven't thought about it.
Collaborating with Dexy Valentine right here. I don't know.
We are going to do some sort of collaboration with the original guitarist of the Psychedelic Furs.
Okay.
He reached out and sent us a song. So, yeah.
Well, what would your dream gig be?
Dream gig?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'd like to play. Actually, I'd really like to play an outdoor theater, like massive outdoor theater somewhere in Europe that's all made of stone.
So like the Red Rocks of Europe.
Something like that. On a summer night,
Yeah, or like the Hollywood Bowl.
I love playing outside at night. I like looking at the sunset or the stars when I'm playing. Or the moon,
Mm-hmm. That would have to be a pretty amazing thing to be in nature and still be creating.
Yeah. There's a lot of festivals that happen in castles or in the woods that are overseas.
And being really loud in nature.
Yeah.
Just being like the loudest band would be awesome.
If you could go back and tell your younger self something about your journey, what would it be? Or maybe what would you tell them not to do? Maybe that's the better way to phrase that question.
Oh. God, I would like to say don't move to Los Angeles.
Don't take anything seriously.
Stay where you were.
Yeah.
I wonder what would have happened.
My only regret was taking anything seriously ever. There's nothing to take serious. It's all supposed to be fun.
It's like 100 degrees here right now. It feels like 100 degrees.
Yeah, we're only at 50 something. I'm not going to complain right now because it'll get colder.
Yeah.
So if you could give yourself one piece of advice besides the not taking things seriously, and what I mean by advice is something that you're possibly yourself would not know. So if you told your younger self, "Hey, I'm gonna end up living in LA," do you think your younger self would have believed you?
Um,
Yeah, maybe.
yeah, when I was younger, I was really, really good at manifesting things.
Okay.
I'd say I'm going to go out today and, find a turtle in the woods, and I would go out and find one right away. So I was pretty good at manifesting, but I always said I never wanted to move to Los Angeles. But I've been here so long. I love it. There's things about it I love so much. So I would just tell myself to, follow your intuition.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good. I came to LA when I was young. My family came here to visit. We had like another person in the family that lived here. So I was out here when I was pretty young just to visit. I thought it was really interesting. We got to go to like I don't know, talk show or something, and the B-52s played. And so that was like, I was like, wow, LA is really fun. So
It's just changed a lot.
it's definitely different, even just since I've been here.
Yeah.
Like from the beginning of being here, whenever it was years ago. It's just like, I guess everything's changed a lot everywhere. We did this last tour over the last, when was it? Like in April, May, it was like going to all these cities. It was like, wow, every city just seems
everything changed.
different. Like, I don't know.
I think it's all changed a lot since the pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
things have changed.
I don't know. Since social media and
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just weird. Everything's weird.
I mean,
Yeah.
our first album came out in 2012, so a lot has changed.
Well, and then there's a big thing that's with the music industry is AI. I mean, how do you feel about competing with that?
What happened?
Hello?
Still there?
Hello, I'm here. I'm here. You're not. I see you. There we are.
Okay.
Okay, we're back.
Okay.
You said AI?
Yeah, I said, how do you feel about competing with AI?
I just tune it out. I'm just not interested.
It's like amazing and it sucks. Like it's incredible that you can like push a button and make a song, but it's not like good.
No.
It's like it's good, amazing at first. It's like it's got a wow factor where like you first like wow, but then like if you really just look at it or listen to it, it's like nah, this sucks.
I hope bands don't start. I mean, I just don't think bands in our genre would ever want AI to write their songs for them.
It's interesting, but it's not. I don't know. It's not. It's just taken from what's already been done.
Well, and it's not only that. From what I was reading an article earlier today, they were talking about the fact that it harms your brain. I mean, you're taking away your creativity, you're taking away your thought process to save time.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta go. The real gold you got is your imagination, what you can imagine. You don't want a computer to imagine something for you. But I mean, as a tool, maybe you could use it for something. But I don't know. It's just we don't. Like for us, it's just seems so foreign of something to work with for our music.
Yeah.
Oh, I get it. So,
I mean, I can't say I haven't asked ChatGPT recipes or, I don't really like it, but I don't hate ChatGPT,
Well, yeah, if you want to find out who won the baseball game 5 years ago, like sure.
It's the same as Google, if you just go on Google and ask something.
But here's the thing. I've seen Google, because Google AI comes up automatically and it'll answer something. And then if you actually look at an article, it's completely wrong.
Wrong.
Oh,
Yeah.
is it? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think they do that on purpose.
It could be.
It can't be. They probably have a perfect version somewhere where it answers everything right, but they give the general public the one that screws up every 3 answers or something.
So what made you decide that you wanted to do music? How old were you? I mean, was this something that was always part of your life?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, my grandfather played piano when I was a kid, so I started playing piano when I was about 3 or 4. And then I taught myself how to play, and then I ended up taking lessons. And then I taught myself how to play the guitar when I was about 15. I just always wanted to do music because I thought it was a good way to not have to just go work a regular 9 to 5 job,
Mm-hmm.
And I would have rather just chosen the life of the starving artist than going to a job I didn't want to do every day,
Doing something you weren't passionate about will kill your soul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't handle fluorescent lighting and
Yeah.
so.
Yes, I pretty much kind of the same. Like my dad had a big record collection, so just like listening to music when you're young,
And your dad plays.
and my dad played music. He had a band he was playing, so I was around music my whole life. My whole family did music stuff,
Yeah.
so it just kind of seemed. And plus, it's like nothing is as immediate as music. Like right away, you get a feeling of something, whereas other types of art that are cool or interesting, they have like more of a slow build, or I don't know, even painting, it's like music's like so immediate, and it's just like you like it or you don't right away. And just so much music you hear and it's like, wow, I love this, or you got to hear, and then I like to listen, you hear it, like I want to hear it again, I listen to the same song 1,000 times, so that's kind of, I don't know. And then you decide what you like about it and what you don't like about it, and then all of a sudden you're making music. All of a sudden you're at your friend's house and you got a 4-track that
starting
you
a band in
borrowed.
the basement.
Yeah, starting a band, and you got a 4-track from his older brother that you're trying to figure out how to work, and then you're recording songs about people at school that you write. I don't know, just all kinds of stuff. So
Stir play.
I don't know. We just love music. I just like there's nothing more fun, more gratifying. I don't know.
Yeah.
Nothing gives you that kick like coming up with a tune.
No, and
I
then
still haven't gotten used to podcasts. It's so strange.
all it is podcasts are just us talking for the most part, unless, that's all the standard questions. But when you look at music, you also have to look at it this way. It becomes a soundtrack for people's lives. Like you were saying, somebody's getting married to one of your songs. There may be a moment where this becomes a couple song. There may be a moment where this song brings somebody comfort in their darkest time. And you never know these things, but it's all a possibility.
It's like that with, just doing the music ourselves. I mean, like when we write or record a song, it's like the first thing you think of is like, where was I when we were recording this? It says it's the soundtrack for our own kind of what, our lives, like every record's like a different place we were at, or so it's cool that other people get that too out of it if they hear it,
I mean, music has got me through a lot of stuff. We've had people write us and tell them our music has helped them in all kinds of ways. I'm like, wow, it's amazing.
And that's the thing. It can inspire you. It can push you to go forward. It can comfort you in your time of need. Music is one of the things that is different from every form of art because it can offer you that. Looking at a painting, sure, it may bring back a memory. It may bring something to you to brighten your day, but it's not going to have the same impact.
It's not the same as like when you get up first thing in the morning and you put on your favorite song and you turn it up really loud and like that first.
Movies do similar things for me. Like I can watch the same movie 50 times. Because it's like playing a record, I love getting
50 times, 1,000 times. So
yes, we're not going to talk about which movies I watched.
I was just watching the same.
No, we're not going to talk about which one. I mean, I have watched certain movies. Like people will come over like 2 years later. You're still watching this movie. I'm like, it's like I'm playing a record that I absolutely love. I love getting lost in this movie. It's comforting.
Well, that's exactly it. There's a psychological study that says if you continue to watch a movie or TV show over and over again, it's for comfort because you don't have the mystery of, well, this is going to happen or this, you don't have this whole figuring out process. You know what's going to happen. It brings you comfort. You can control.
I know every word to this movie, every word from beginning to end. I'm not going to say it is, though.
I used to be able to recite Star Wars because after my parents split, I would say, Dad's like, well, what do you want to do today? I want to go see Star Wars. So I could recite Star Wars to you back in the day.
Great. So you know what I'm talking about.
Hmm.
In that movie. Those first three movies are the good ones.
Hmm.
Quite a few times myself.
Yeah, I think before it ever came out on video, I think I saw it 20 times at the theater. Not just with my dad, but my mom drugged me to see Saturday Night Fever. And then she realized that they were going to have sex in the backseat of a car. So she's like, you can go see Star Wars. I'm like, okay. So I went upstairs and snuck and watched Star Wars. I didn't want to watch Saturday Night Fever. I was young. I was little. I didn't need to see that. So I wanted to be Princess Leia. Why not? You know? She was
You
cool.
kind of look like Princess Leia, don't you?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's actually a little bit out of camera shot. I have a Princess Leia doll up on my shelf. Um, so don't shame yourself for watching something over and over again. It brings you comfort, and that's sometimes when you can get comfort, especially in the crazy place we live.
Yeah.
It's a good thing.
And inspiration, you know. I like a lot of fantasy movies, fairy tale movies, where they take place in Europe, a different time period, like 16th century, and am I in the frame here? I'm just like, no,
You're there you're not. It's okay. It's all good. It's all good. So which actually brings up a valid question here. So if you could go back and travel anywhere in time, where would you go and what would you do and how do you see yourself?
Um, wow. Um,
And if
I
you
would
don't
like
have an answer, that's okay.
I would like to have an afternoon sitting having tea with Oscar Wilde. Would be nice. How
Okay.
about you?
I don't know. There's so many times. It's like if you think about just even the last 100 years, it's like, wow, it'd be cool to go to the 80s and like mess around. Or the 70s looked kind of interesting and some of that stuff. And then the 60s had a lot of excitement. And even the 50s, like I go see the Big Bopper play live in the 50s, or the 40s, some of that jazz music was pretty good, actually. Like some of those songs, I'd like to sit in on some of those sessions. And the 30s, I don't know what they were doing, but they were probably still listening to jazz. Like I could just go back and then, the 1800s, like what was really going on then? It'd be cool to check it out. Like one of the things that influenced our record a lot was a book about the World's Fair from 1893 in Chicago.
Okay.
And if you ever look at the pictures of that, it's pretty mind blowing what was here. And so it'd be kind of fun to go pop into that World's Fair and see what was happening then. Like, I don't know. There's so many times of history, and then you want to go back 1,000 years? And
Well, I don't know. If
I
you
don't
think
know if I'll
about
go that far.
there's like,
but maybe because
there's no medicine back then. You
But was
die
there
from
though?
sore throat. It's like
Maybe, but
there's
maybe not. Maybe there was an advanced civilization 1,000 years ago, and they built giant cathedrals and stuff, and we just don't. They just don't tell us that much about it. I don't know. Yeah, lots of times I guess would be cool to check out.
All the
Where
possibilities.
where would you go?
Where would I go?
Mhm.
I don't know. As you said, there's a lot of possibilities. I mean, when you're talking about the 80s, I lived through the 80s. I lived through the 70s. So, I really don't know because at this point in my life, I I don't know that there's any place I would travel because I do it in my writing.
Right. Yeah.
So if I
We
want
feel
to,
like we traveled in our album
yeah.
somewhere else.
So yeah, done. And I'm the interviewer, so you don't have to.
We've got some questions for you.
Yeah. It's just one of those things where it's like there was a time, if you would ask me when I was younger, I would have said, oh, I would love to sit down with Marilyn Monroe and talk to her. And I would like to do but now being older, it's kind of like, yeah, I'm okay. I've done some good things in my life. I've had some interesting moments and,
Yeah.
I've met people, I've talked to people, and I realize that people that are famous are not really much different than anybody else. It's just the attitude.
Right. It's true.
So
Yeah, that's true.
Someone asked me in an interview the other day, like, who was the last person you were starstruck by? And I'm just like, nobody. I'm not really starstruck, but people are people,
yeah.
I don't know. I think when I was a kid, I will like, ooh, starstruck. You see, that would be crazy to meet that person, but it's just they didn't seem human back then when you were a kid, but now they do. Isn't it funny how that changes
We
as
see
you
people
grow
all the
up?
time living in Los Angeles. They're everywhere. You go to the grocery store or something, and there's that one or that one. And it's like, oh, okay, they're buying some
It must be so uncomfortable
chips.
to be that famous,
I mean,
I think I'd freak out.
I went to school with a kid that was in Close Encounters.
Oh,
And
wow.
so it was just kind of like, and that was in New Orleans, and he was a little arrogant at times, but the whole fact of the matter was, I was best friends with his brother, so it didn't matter. And I didn't see him like, oh my gosh. Yes, I wanted to be an actor, but it wasn't like, I didn't really think anything about it. And I've met the people that I admired the most, I met, and it was just kind of like, mm,
Do you
no
have a
big deal.
cat right there?
Yes, I do.
Is that a tortie?
Yes.
Oh, I have a tortie.
That is
Can I
Miss
hear?
Chloe. Whoops.
Oh my God, I have to send. You should see my cat. Looks like.
Kind of looks like Mau Mau.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chloe was she showed up, she was my neighbor's cat and at my old house, and she decided she didn't want to go back to my neighbor. 3 times she went back home and she came back. So yeah. hmm
Nice.
So yeah. Um is there anything that we haven't talked about that you would like to add?
No.
I think we're good.
Man, I just hope everybody checks out the album and gives it a listen one time, and hope they get a kick out of it like we did.
I'm sure they will. I always put links in the show notes for it too. So what about you, Dexy? Anything?
Um, well, we're gonna start working on the next record.
Okay.
Maybe it will be a little bit lighter.
I mean, no offense. It's like I said, your music's big and that is powerful, and sometimes that skews darker for me. But that's me. So
It's like when we're doing it, you don't really decide. It's hard to, like, some things, like if you're going to build a house, you're going to be like, this is what the house, you got to do all the blueprints and stuff. But doing music, it's like, it's kind of just like,
Build as you go.
yeah, it's like, how does it feel as you go? Like, what's the next? It kind of does it itself. Like, you don't plan it. So it's not like, oh, this is trying to be dark or this is trying to be this. It's just kind of ends up fitting whatever there's a mood that comes out from whatever you're feeling that day, and it's just.
Yeah, but it is interesting, as you seem like you're psychic and, you said you read the cards, what is drawing
Mhm.
us to a more darker element,
But
That's a
then,
good question.
well, here's the thing though. You also have to look at this. You're a Pisces, so you're naturally intuitive. You're also going to be a little empathetic, or empathic. So what is around the world right now? Is it all love and light and fairy tales and romance and chutzpah? Or are we, McDonald's? Let's think about this. McDonald's went from the happy place to looking like, let's paint everything gray.
Like
Yeah.
a prison in McDonald's now.
Yeah.
Anyway, those places, it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely want to be. I feel like though that there is hope in that record. Even though it might sound darker, the way it all ties in, it's like a journey of finding that light place.
But that's
You know?
that's the one thing you have to remember. And I mean, to talk about astrology real quick, Pluto's moving into Aquarius, and Pluto is known as the destroyer. But here's the thing: in order to rebuild and to rebuild something better, you have to maintain hope, but you have to go through the destruction.
Yeah, I feel like our last two records definitely went through some trenches, and I think that the next thing we do is going to be like the other side of that. But it couldn't be the other side of that without going through that.
Exactly. So, like I said, don't take any offense because
No,
the
no,
darkness
not
comes.
at all. Not
But
at all.
yeah, I think I think if you can create powerful music that resonates with people to get them through this, that's what matters. And
Yeah.
and hope is very important to have.
I feel other people, I wanted, because a lot of people go to that place that I was in when I was writing it,
Mhm.
and normally our other music just wouldn't really relate to anyone going through certain things, you know. I think everyone goes through periods of introspection and, you know, sort of looking for a sort of feeling or a time that's been lost, you know. And it's kind of like making that record was like, okay, I'm gonna go reclaim this stuff and put it into this album, and then that's it, you know. Once it's out, that's it, you go on to the next thing.
But having that avenue to allow yourself to explore, it also becomes a healing tool for you and anybody else that's listening.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the music always has to be, at the end of the day, like, there has to be like beauty in it. I feel like that even if things are dark or whatever, it's gotta like,
There's always stars shining
we
in the
always
dark,
aim
you know.
for like a beauty. There's like a lack of, not a lack of beauty in the world, but it seems like there's an effort to like, you know, shut down, you know, put a damper on
Diminish.
things that are beautiful. Yeah, exactly. So we can have a little bit of that, and I'm happy.
Musicians need to give the world hope sometimes.
Yeah, I just don't, I can't really skim the surface of anything anymore, you know. I'm always going down as far down as possible to see what's there.
I completely understand. So I thank you guys for coming on.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much. Yes.
When Dexy and Chris talk about having their own LA, I think that happens to all of us. We get into these little bubbles of our places we go, the places that bring us comfort, especially with the stress of the world and the way things feel not so controlled now. We have to find those moments that actually offer us something of peace, of our own little protective bubble. And, you know, I've moved and I have some places that I go to, not very often because, you know, cancer and everything. But it's a comfort, you know, when I lived, I guess about 3 or 4 houses ago now, actually it's 2, but there was a Trader Joe's there, not too far away. And once they put that in, my husband and I would go there, and we went there so often that the people knew us. We had a restaurant that people knew us. And it was one of those things where by getting to know people, whether it be at a restaurant, grocery store, or whatever, you feel like you have a sense of community. And right now, that's one of those things where you need the comfort, you need the community, and it's important to have that. So try and find that, try and build that, and try and understand that that's what you need in this world right now. As far as the Magic Wands music, I definitely would check it out if I were you. Like I said, for me, it's something big, and it's something that I can write to. And it's important that you kind of embrace that. Because music isn't something that is, you know, sure, it can be background. But when music has a message and when it's something that is powerful, it can make us feel things, and it can challenge us. It can give us hope. And just because it feels one way to me doesn't mean it's going to feel some way to you. It'll feel something totally different, possibly. It's got an 80s vibe. So if you like that, definitely check it out. And, you know, I think them looking at how quick they rose and then realizing it was too much, that's something that a lot of people need to learn, that maybe sometimes what we think we want, we don't really. And that it's better that we didn't get it. And if we did get it, that we made our own personal choice to take care of ourselves. Because sometimes we get lost on a job, and it can be a normal 9-to-5 job. And we lose ourselves and we don't realize the detriment that it actually puts on our body, our psyche, our soul, and our heart. So today, if you find yourself in a situation where you feel overwhelmed, ask yourself, what's making me feel that way, and how do I fix it? And I guess ask the other question of, you know, the question that was posed to me was what the one I posed to them. If I could travel back in time, and if I look at traveling back in time, it would be to fix something that I did wrong, something that still haunts me to the day. It wouldn't be to go meet anybody. It wouldn't be to go, you know, observe things. I'm sure it'd be interesting. But I also know that if I made a different choice, things might be different. So there's always that moment of introspection. And like I said, while it would have been cool to talk to certain people, at a certain point, you realize it's just a conversation and you know a lot enough already. But so today, if you just want some kind of mind game to play, think about it. What would you do? Would you go back and be like quantum leap and change things and stop something from happening? But here's the thing, if it's really meant to happen, it's going to happen anyway, just at a different time. And then, of course, we also have the thought of there's multiverse, there's multi-timelines. Maybe you're in a different timeline and life is all, wonderful. And then again, maybe it's not. Who knows? Because apparently time is not linear. It's all happening at the same time. So on that note, now that I've gone off the rails and you're going, what the hell? Well, it's fun time. But I think we can explore a lot of things in our own realm without even going back in time, because there's a lot of different avenues to explore here. There's a lot of theories, and some of them may be true, some of them may not be. It's up for you to determine, because maybe we're living in the Matrix, or maybe not. But you never know, because sometimes fact is stranger than fiction. So on that note, I hope you enjoyed the show. I thank Dexy and Chris for coming on. I thank you, the listener, for tuning in. I thank Fast Susie for the intro and outro music. And no matter when you're listening, morning, noon, or night, I really do appreciate it. And I'll catch you next time, guys. Bye.